Alrighty all, here we are back for the blue tournament here, and I'm going to try to just put this out into play. Try not to get too aggressive with this. I'm actually going to maybe try to even great ball this to the right, kind of intentionally. You'll see that it kind of, when you shoot down to these lower elevations, that it lands short, and you want to avoid this rough. Any little click on that rough usually sticks. One of the things you might want to do is you might want to check out the hole. I knew, because I just zoomed in before this video, I probably should have did it on the video, but you might want to just check out and see the pins. Like there's 3 pins that they use on this green, and it's wise to know ahead of time what you're going into. So that kind of dictated the cruiser ball that I used, is the fact that I knew it was on the front here. I was probably going to stay well within range. So you can see with what I'm trying to do. Keep in mind I'm using about 2 backspin here. It's because of the headwind. With the tailwind, we might crank this up, might even use full. So but what I try to do is I try to bring them in with a little bit of speed, so it gives that possibility that I hold it out. Now what I would probably do for a 7-6 is maybe 5 rings, a little bit more. So that's where you're going to see that I pull up to. That's probably 5.0. That's maybe 5.1, 5.2. Oh no, I hope that doesn't register. Looks like it didn't. So it does look like it's still coming in, and even that, you can see, still a little bit light. Maybe even could have used the great ball. But as you can see, my timing there was pretty good. Just a hair late on the release, and you can see it doesn't appear to have registered. I'm like positive that didn't register as a great ball. So, there you have it. Pretty straightforward. Hopefully you can get that drop, or at least get it in there tight. Oh, Wolf Creek 3 again. Man, very popular hole. So typically with this wind, I will do a rough bump. It's one of the hardest holes, and they regularly put this one in here. Very, very challenging shot to do, but I'm going to show you the best way to approach it. We're going to go Viking, we're going to go bump. Now, how much topspin I go is really kind of dictated on the wind. I'll typically use 6 for headwinds, and I'll use 0 for tailwinds. So you can see I only have 4 on a Viking 4. So probably just going to use all of this here. Probably make sure all of that's on. It should, you can see I'm pretty close to the edge here. And in terms of my ring play, we are going to do a little bit more than 2. I'm thinking 2.4 per ring, maybe. So a little bit more than 2, but definitely less than 3. So just pulling down to maybe this mark, maybe just a little bit more. You want to play the effect as well, so you can see I used right spin. May even just try to slight curl this just to kind of help it to hold its line. What we're trying to do is hit it very close to the edge, which we did, and it's top spinning up. You can see maybe just a little bit too aggressive with that land zone. I could have shortened it up a little bit and it wouldn't have ran out that much. So you can see 4 was just a little bit heavy, but since I had the headwind, I went for it. With that same exact shot, probably 3 would have been a little bit better, but I could have shortened the land zone as well. If I would have landed on that second cut instead of the first, it may have been perfect. So one of 2 things you need to correct there, not necessarily both. So, but again, that's one of the main things that does make this game challenging, because you just kind of gotta, just kind of know all the situations. Now here you can see we got a tailwind, which is nice. I'm not even going to use topspin on a tailwind. And I'm also not going to get too aggressive on this edge. Again, we're shooting down to a very low elevation, very similar to hole 1. It's going to land short. The ball is going to land short. With that being said, though, the tailwind is going to help it from landing too short. But you can see I'm still, it's not like I'm beating it well over the rough edge there. So you will want to avoid trying to get too aggressive there. Now, typically what I'll do here, especially towards the short end of the club, we're going to go I am root, and we're going to play wind effect. That's the biggest key. We're going to play a backstop on this one. Let me show you exactly how to do this. I usually try to land about pin high in headwinds, maybe a little bit short since it's not a full-on headwind. But the biggest key is we're going to play the wind effect because the rollout is going to be dictated by the wind direction. So as you can see, we can land, and so you'll see I'm going to put this right spin on, kind of straighten out my line as best as possible. How many rings would I typically go? I would typically go 5 here at least. And you'll see 5 to 6 rings, we're kind of predicting it's going to land around here. This is more or less what we want. We're going to try to land it in front of the hole. So you'll see, instead of trying to make it land pin high, since it's not quite directly into the wind, I'm going to try to make it land about a ring short. So it should land about a ring short. And you're seeing that I'm playing the wind effect as well, plus the curl. So we're trying to get this basically as right as possible. And it should check up and use this backstop. So as you can see, we can potentially get that double eagle just by mastering that. It looks like just a little bit too much spin. You want to get aggressive like that. You can see, my ball rolls down the hill a little bit too much, but that's the technique. That's how you're going to make the double eagle. You have to get a little bit ballsy and, make sure that does get the whole way down the hill. And even if it rolls too far, oh well, at least we tried for the double eagle, because it very well could just as easily go in. So keep that in mind. I'm going to break these up into 2 sets. Good luck with your rounds, and I'll see you guys on the second set.